Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over my Hoya wish list. Now, we did already go over a handful of Hoya in another wish list video that I will link somewhere up here for you, I think. But I do have a handful more Hoya that I want to go over with you guys today. Actually, it's more than a handful, but I'm really excited to go over all of these Hoya with you today. I feel like last time they were, and by last time I mean like in that last like overall wish list video where I covered a few other species as well. Those Hoya were more focused on like silver splashing and just kind of like overall silveriness of the leaves, and this time my list is a little bit more varied, but definitely a little bit more kind of veiny focused. So yeah, let's just get on into it here. And I have pulled up on my computer behind you guys like a little page, a Google page, images for each type of Hoya that I'm talking about today. That way I have something to visually reference while I'm talking about them with you guys. But I'm not sure exactly which photos I'm going to pick for you to look at, but I'm sure they're going to be absolutely beautiful. But the reason I brought that up is because if I'm looking like off to the side, I'm just looking at photos of the plant. So sorry if that looks a little bit odd, but let me kind of go back here. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to start with one of my favorites on my list. This is the Hoya CAUDATA. I am definitely going to butcher all of these Hoya names here, so bear with me on the pronunciation and let me know if you have like a fantastic like hyphenetic, is that how you say that? Hyphenetic like breakdown of how you pronounce each of these names. I would greatly appreciate. I had a really hard time finding pronunciation for some of these online. So yeah, bear with me here on that. But yeah, the first one here is the Hoya CAUDATA. And the reason it's on my list is because it's fuzzy. It's so beautiful. I love kind of like that organic shape to the leaf where it's kind of like pointy leaf shape, but it has like more bumps and ridges on it where it kind of looks like it's been like stepped on and kind of like tossed around a little bit. And did I mention that it's fuzzy? And I'm pretty sure it's fuzzy on both the top and the bottom of the leaves. And this is one of these Hoya. I think this is the only, excuse me, I'm losing my voice for some reason. Is this the only one that I've seen in person? This may be the only one of these plants, of these Hoya, that I've seen in person, but I did get to see this at Horsetooth Stem and Root. I think it actually may just be called Stem and Root now in Fort Collins, Colorado. So if you are ever in the area, I definitely recommend you check that little place out. It's like right off the main road in Old Town, Fort Collins, and they have just grown to have so many amazing plants. They have classes now and stuff too, so definitely check out Stem and Root if you are in Fort Collins. But yeah, that's where I saw my Hoya, well, not my Hoya CAUDATA, I wish, but a Hoya CAUDATA for the very first time, and it's so beautiful. And you guys, not only are the leaves fuzzy, but the flowers are fuzzy looking. It's insane. So you know how like a normal Hoya flower kind of looks like a starburst. They look kind of shiny almost because they have that kind of like syrupy nectar coming out of them. I guess it's not syrup, it's nectar. But these guys, the little like outer flower part of the starburst that usually is kind of shiny looking as well, is fuzzy. It's insane. I'm looking at photos right now. I'm going to be showing you photos as well right here, but it's so stinking cute. It's fuzzy and white and it looks like it's wearing a little sweater. It's just the cutest thing ever. And I want one. And have you seen them when they're kind of sun-stressed? The leaves, not the flowers, but when the leaves are sun-stressed, they get kind of purpley looking. So gorgeous. And I'm pretty sure that the Hoya CAUDATA is one that you can get with more like splashy, silver splashiness on it, which the silveriness is going to be dulled down quite a bit because of the fuzziness of the leaf, but it's still so beautiful looking and it's quite Jurassic looking. I feel like is probably the best word to describe it. Yeah, very Jurassic looking. Such a beautiful Hoya. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next plant here. I'm going to try and not make this so long because I could just go on and on about how gorgeous all of these plants are, but we'll try and keep this a reasonable time for you guys. Okay, ooh, this next one here. I feel like I talked about a like very close cousin to this plant. You can maybe even call it a sister to this plant in my last wish list video talking about Hoya, but this is the Finlaysonii. And if I did talk about the Finlaysonii, it was the big leaf version. And in looking up the big leaf and just like looking up photos of the Finlaysonii large leaf or big leaf or however you want to call it, I came across so many beautiful photos of just your standard Hoya Finlaysonii. And oh my goodness, you guys, it's so beautiful. The leaves are much smaller looking. I would say, well, not much smaller actually. Some of the photos that I'm looking at right now of like, you know, someone like holding a small pot, they look like they could be a decent size, maybe like yay big or so, something like that, but they're just stunning. And what really gets me about this plant in particular is the veining. I love that it's not as uniform as most other veining that you see on Hoya. It's very organic looking. I feel like I've already used that word to describe something, but I feel like it's probably one of the best descriptions that I could think of for the type of veining on this plant. It does follow some sort of pattern, of course, but it's not precise. It's definitely not perfect. They're kind of wavy and bumpy. The spacing in between the lines is definitely not even, and it's just stunning. It looks so unintentionally gorgeous, and man, it just gets me. So I would love to see a plant like this in person one day, and I would especially love to see a Finlaysonii that is blooming, because let me just click on one of these. Oh my god, they're so pretty. So it looks like the blooms on this plant, the inside, okay, so the very tiniest little flower in the center is like a light yellow, and then the flower right outside of that is like a pearly white, so beautiful. And then the most outer like leaves of the petals, if you will, are, it looks like they start off white at the center, and then as they like grow out, they're a maroony pinkish red. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. You could maybe even call that a purple. Depends on your eyeballs, I guess, but so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow. That looks like it could be a little bit fuzzy too. Not like Hoya caudata fuzzy, but still fairly fuzzy. So I would love to see that in person. All right, the next Hoya on my list is going to be the Hoya latifolia. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is a big leaf Hoya. Like, they can get really big. I'm talking like this size of your head or larger for a single leaf. So I feel like some people also call this like the dinner plate Hoya. I could be wrong on that. Let me look here. Yeah, dinner plate. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure if Hoya latifolia dinner plate is like a separate type or it's just like a kind of nickname that it has, but either way, oh my goodness, I love me a large leafed Hoya. I feel like we talked about this last time, but yeah, I love me a large leafed Hoya. I love the small leaves as well, don't get me wrong, but something about a large leaf on any type of plant, but especially a Hoya, because the leaves are so thick and sturdy, especially for this plant in particular that I'm talking about, the latifolia. I feel like I'm saying it super weird as well, so my apologies. But yeah, I feel like these leaves look like they are going to be super thick, super sturdy, kind of along the same lines as my, what is it? I'm looking at it right here. My Hoya obovata. It's like super thick, super sturdy, where when it's like well watered, you can't bend it or do anything to it unless you're going to break it. So I would love to see a really large, mature basket of this. Oh my gosh. Again, I've never seen this plant in person before. At least I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I would have noticed it somewhere. But yeah, let me know if this is one that you have any experience with, if you've seen it around, because I do feel like it's one that I don't feel, or that I don't hear it like talked about as much. So yeah, let me know what you think of this one. I feel like it's not that much to talk about other than the fact that it is like absolutely giant. But yeah, it's just so cool. Okay, hold on. What do the flowers look like? Okay, so the flowers, if you're wondering, or the blooms rather, I don't know the correct terminology for these guys, but for the Hoya latifolia, the flowers look like white, maybe like pineapple flavored, what's the word? I want to call them juicy fruits, but Starburst. They look like pineapple flavored Starburst. Is that even a thing? I haven't eaten Starburst in like a decade, so I'm not sure, but if that was a thing, that's what these little guys look like. They're so cute. They look so juicy, and oh my gosh, they're adorable. I have a picture up right here for you, of course, so that you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, the Hoya latifolia just looks absolutely stunning. And you know what? I lied. I said it was a little bit boring looking, just kind of like overall, but no. Here's like a photo close up of a leaf. The veination is actually quite beautiful. It kind of reminds me of an anthurium actually with that veination. Really gorgeous. This may be like a thirsty plant. That's kind of what it makes me think of, because it just, I don't know, it's so extra veiny, and I feel like you don't see Hoya veiny in that way. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but that is beautiful. So anyway, okay, Hoya latifolia. Let's move on to the next plant. Ooh, okay. This next one, this is so cool. Okay, so this plant, have I seen in person? I don't think I have. I think I've just looked up this plant so many times that my brain feels like we've seen it in person, but we have not. Okay, the Hoya imbricata. This is so cool. Okay, upon first glance, especially for some of these pictures, you might feel like, is that plant okay? Is it dying? Are there slugs on that plant? Like, what's going on here? It's so cool looking. So the Hoya imbricata, this guy looks, when he doesn't have like wood or something to crawl up, he looks like he's just like shriveled. It looks like a Hoya obovata has just like deflated and like tacoed onto itself. That's a good way to describe it. I feel like it's the best way I can describe it. But when it's growing up something in kind of the way I think it really wants to grow in nature, like up a tree or something like that, they grow like a shingling plant almost, but just kind of like right stacked on top of each other, like not shingling, but just like perfectly crawling. And oh my goodness, this photo that I have here for you, this might be the same photo that I'm showing you guys, unless I can find one that's better, but it perfectly shows the Hoya imbricata crawling up what looks to be like a moss pole of some kind, and then it has a bloom hanging down, just like so perfect, hanging down like a shower head. It's just like absolutely stunning. So yeah, this Hoya just really got me the first time that I saw it, when I was like growing up something, and then I saw the leaves like kind of collapsing along the stem when it didn't have anything else to grow up, and I was just like kind of fascinated with how it figures out how to support itself. And I love this plant. I think it is absolutely stunning. I would definitely, if I had this plant, I would not have it just like flopped over onto itself. I really prefer the look of it crawling up something. I think that is just absolutely stunning. Ooh, here's another photo. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be showing you the same exact photo as the one I'm looking at here, but this photo does depict a Hoya imbricata that seems to be shingling a little bit more than the previous photos that I was showing you guys, where it's growing like a little bit more perfect. So it looks like it can grow a couple different ways here. It'll give you a couple different kinds of looks. Oh my god, here's a photo of one growing up a brick wall. Are you kidding me? It just looks like it's suction cupped onto there, because essentially I think it is, and it just looks so perfect. It kind of reminds me of some sort of sea creature or something like that. I don't know, let me know if you get that same kind of feel from it, but I'm loving this plant. Hoya imbricata. Let me know what you think. I feel like this is one that is definitely not for everyone, but I can't get enough of it. I love it. And look, you guys, look at these blooms. They're so beautiful, and they're fuzzy. I don't know, I can't tell if the Hoya imbricata leaves themselves are fuzzy. It doesn't really look like it. Whoa, totally tripped over my tongue there, but it doesn't look like the leaves themselves are fuzzy in any of these photos, but the flowers definitely are. They are so stinking cute. So these flowers, the teeniest little flower in the center is like a little white one that has like little buggy looking antennas. It's so cute. And then the kind of middle flower is pink, adorable, and it looks more shiny for that part. It looks like that is where the nectar is going to be coming out of. And then the outermost flower is the really fuzzy part, and it's yellow. Oh, it's just adorable. Okay, if I didn't already love this plant, now I'm gonna need one. So yeah, let me know what you think of this plant. Do you love it like I do, or do you think I'm crazy? Because I kind of get it if you think I'm crazy, because some of these photos are just like, I'm not gonna lie, some of them look ugly. I don't want to like call out any specific photos. I'm not going to show you any photos that I would call ugly necessarily, but it's just the plant. But you know, the way that it's growing or whatever, it's not like anyone's doing anything wrong with the plant. They're just like not giving it any support. So I just really prefer the look of this plant when it is like growing up something and can flatten out and you can really see the whole thing in its glory. But yeah, okay, let's move on. Okay. We're gonna move on to this guy here. This is the Hoya Rotundiflora. I think that's right, Rotundiflora. This is a Hoya that took me some time to like. I wasn't even like trying to like it. I just eventually did. But when I first saw this plant, something about the shape of the leaves really turned me off, and just like they looked like big square fingers, and something about that just really didn't settle with me. And yeah, I was not liking this plant at all, but I don't know what happened. Some sort of flip switched, and now I just think they're so stinking cute. Like, they look like little fingers. That's adorable. Like little ogre fingers or something, like little Shrek fingers. You know, just like little fat square fingers. Precious. Very weird plant, I will admit. I still like some of the photos. I'm just like, whew, it's kind of weird, but they're so cute at the same time. Like, what's wrong with me? I don't know. Also, the flowers on these ones are quite, I would say, understated. They're not nearly as like flashy as the last flowers that we were seeing. They're really, really cute though. The outermost flower is like a really, really light, almost white looking color. Really light pink, almost white looking color. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. And then that middle flower is a super light muted yellow, and then the innermost flower is a more bright pink, more like kind of magenta pink almost. So beautiful. But I will say, the leaves themselves, I feel like they can get a little bit fuzzy looking, and that is what I really, really like. In addition to a large leaf Hoya, a veiny Hoya, a silvery Hoya, I really like a fuzzy Hoya as well. So yeah, let me know if you have seen the Rotundiflora, if you have one. What do you think? Do you think it looks like little fingers, and do you like it? It's also one that I really like the look of when it gets kind of veiny looking. Again, I feel like that's probably a side effect of it being a thirstier plant, but maybe not. Maybe it is just kind of a veinier looking leaf. I don't know. Again, let me know what you guys think. It's another one that, I don't know if I mentioned this already, sorry if I did, but I've never seen this plant in person before, so I would love to see it in person and just like feel the leaves, because all Hoya leaves are so interesting feeling. That's why they're called like the wax-leaved plants, but they're not always waxy. Sometimes they're fuzzy and cool. So I'd love to see if this is fuzzy. So let me know in the comments down below. All right, the next Hoya on my list is one that has been on my list for a really, really, really long time. I'm sure I've mentioned it in the past before. It's so beautiful, but this is the Hoya CALLISTOPHYLLA. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's so gorgeous. That bright chartreusey leaf color with the dark, dark veining. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. I love that high contrast. So beautiful. And like, okay, when it starts to get a little bit sun stressed, the photo that I'm looking at right now is from Steve's Leaves. First off, $60. I'm not sure what size the plant is. If it's like the size plant that's actually pictured here, that would be, I feel like, a pretty decent deal, because this looks like a lot of plant. But the photo that I'm looking at here does have a couple leaves that look really sun stressed, and they're just delicious. So when these leaves get sun stressed, instead of getting purpley like the Hoya CAUDATA does that we were talking about earlier, these ones get really red looking and kind of like a sunset. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. Now, I don't know if I mentioned in this video or not, but sun stressing is something that will come and go depending on how much light you're giving your Hoya. So it's not something that is permanent. So if you get your Hoya to start getting sun stressed and you really don't like the look of it, just pull it a little bit further back from that light source and the sun stressing will start to dissipate. So don't stress too much about the sun stressing, I guess. But anyway, the Hoya CALLISTOPHYLLA is so gorgeous. I do feel like, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like it's one that has been passed around more. I feel like it's one that is being grown more. So I'm hoping that it's maybe one that we'll start to see in big box stores soon. I don't know if I can really say that about any other Hoya on my list, except for maybe one, just because it is so specific looking that I feel like growers would know that it would sell well in a big box store setting, but we'll get to that one. But this one I'm hoping I will start to see in like a Lowe's or a Home Depot or something soon for a really decent price, because I would snatch it up super fast, because I'm sure it would grow after, you know, gets acclimated to my house. I'm sure it would start growing in no time, because that's just kind of how Hoya seem to be. They seem to, you know, take a little bit of time to get acclimated to their space, and then once they're acclimated, they just take off. So I would love to see a big bushy CALLISTOPHYLLA. I think that's just gorgeous. So yeah, I don't know. They're just beautiful. And the blooms. Here's a bloom. So beautiful. Again, it looks like a starburst. Okay, so the photo that I'm looking at is from Tropics at Home. I might be showing you a different photo, but oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I don't even know that I could properly describe this. It's gorgeous. It looks like some sort of crazy sacred geometry or something. It's so beautiful. So yeah, check out this photo here. I'm so sorry I can't properly describe this for those who can't see it, but man, that's something else. Okay, let's move on to the next plant here. Okay, so this plant is one that I am going to fully butcher the name of, and I am so sorry, because I'm just sorry. But this is the Hoya, okay, let me try. I looked up the pronunciation of this Hoya like for so long, and looked up so many videos of people saying the name in their videos and their planty videos, and everyone said it different. So let's see how I say it. This is the Hoya GUNUNG GADING. Hoya GUNUNG GADING is how I'm going to say this. I feel like that sounds nice. And this Hoya is one that I added to my wish list quite last minute, and wow, am I glad that I did, because it is so beautiful. It kind of has a similar vibe to, is it the Finlaysonia that we were looking at earlier? Kind of with the veination and everything being, you know, it still goes, or what am I trying to say? The veination is still symmetrical, but it's also not perfectly symmetrical. So it kind of goes along that same vibe there as the Finlaysonia that we were looking at earlier. But I believe that this plant gets much larger leaves. And again, it has that like chartreusey color with the darker veination. And okay, what really got me about this plant is when I get sun stressed. The photo I'm looking at right now is so beautiful. The photo I'm looking at right now is from Reddit, so I don't know if I'm going to show you this same photo, but oh my goodness. Essentially, when it gets sun stressed, if it's sun stressed enough, the entire leaf can be like a beautiful maroony red with that dark, like almost black veination. Are you kidding me? It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Ugh. So cool. I'm not gonna lie, when it is like half sun stressed, half not, it looks slightly diseased, so it might concern some people. But if you know what's going on and you know that like it's okay for your plant, it may not be the best for your plant because it is sun stressing. So based on the name, maybe it's not like absolutely fantastic for your plant, but I personally haven't seen any like terrible side effects whatsoever from the sun stressing my Hoya. So yeah, it may look a little bit weird, but wow, is it beautiful. So let me know what you think of this one. Do you have this Hoya? I feel like I have heard maybe Harley G or someone else speak about this Hoya before. So yeah, I'm really interested in it. I would love to see, again, just like a big bushy plant of this. Honestly, that's kind of my jam with Hoya. I mean, I feel like you see them sold a lot as like really small, like 1 or 2 leaf cuttings, but I love a big full bush of Hoya. They're just, oh, they're so pretty. It's like, it's meant to be a super big and bushy, right? That's what I think. I don't know. Anyway, moving on here. Okay, so this Hoya is that other Hoya that I was referring to when I was saying that I feel like we may see this in big box stores fairly soon, just because it has such a particular look to the leaves that, I mean, is very desirable. So this is going to be the Hoya POLYNEURA. Okay. Hello. So this is also called the fish-tailed Hoya. I think this is the only Hoya that I have on this list that has like a fun common name, at least that I know of. And you can see it is very well named, the fish-tailed Hoya. It's so beautiful. And oh my gosh, I've been seeing this it with like tons of silver splashing. I've also been seeing this variegated, like elbow marginata style, like where the outer parts of the leaves are variegated. It's so, so stunning. But honestly, just the plain old green Hoya POLYNEURA is so stunning to me. It's one of those plants that just looks very classy and very elegant. I think it has something to do with the veination being really tight and close together, and also quite uniform as well. I feel like that makes it look very just, I don't know, just put together and lovely. So this is another one of those plants that as a big full bushy plant, it just looks, it looks kind of crazy, honestly. It's so beautiful. But in the same vein, I think this one also actually looks really good. It's just like a single vine, which I would not say about all Hoya. I think this one just looks so, so cool. It has so much interest just within a couple of leaves that that's all you really need to get like someone looking at it. You know what I mean? Just, it's just such an interesting shape. So yeah, this one I think is high on many people's wish list. I would not be surprised. And it is stunning. Okay. Look at this. Okay, it looks like Doug Chamberlain on YouTube has a 3-minute video, and it seems like it's all about the fishtail Hoya, the Hoya POLYNEURA, and just the first image here, I think it must just be his thumbnail on here. There's a huge bushy plant, and it is just stunning. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is one too that from far away it might not look like much, but once you get close to it, you're like, wait a second. There's a school of fish swimming out of that plant? Like, what's going on here? Oh man, some people have some really beautifully well-established plants. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm just, wow. That's funny. This photo that I'm looking at right now is from the Planta app, and it's just so perfect. I don't know what the Planta app is, but they've got a gorgeous picture of a POLYNEURA on here. All right, you guys, I think that is going to do it for this Hoya wishlist video. I am thinking of doing kind of a part 2 or like a spin-off to this video where we go on Etsy and like maybe some other online plant shops and we kind of shop my wish list. Now, I don't think I'm going to be actually buying anything in these videos because I am really trying to save up as much money as humanly possible, but I think it would be really, really fun to just do some like online window shopping for my wish list plants because I don't know. I mean, who doesn't love doing some online shopping, especially some online window shopping where we're just adding things, we're adding things to the cart, but we're not pushing by. We're having a little bit of self-restraint here for a small time. But let me know what you think of that. I think that's going to be really, really fun to do with you guys. And I also think I want to do it with my original wish list as well. And kind of my idea with that too is to keep notes of kind of the general pricing that I'm seeing for each of these wish list plants. And that way, when I go back like 6 months and a year from now, I can kind of see, you know, check in on the prices and see what we're looking at. See if they're going down in price a little bit, hopefully, or if they're going up in price or just kind of like staying the same. That really interests me. So let me know if that interests you guys at all as well. But either way, I think I'm gonna do it. But let me know if you guys want to see something like that. And if you have any other ideas kind of along the same vein that you would like to see, definitely let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And yeah, thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.